Sustainable development as a concept is not new. It goes back decades. In 1987, it emerged as a result of the Brundtland Report, Our Common Future, that there was an immediate need for the integration of economic development, environmental protection, as well as social justice and inclusion on a global scale. To summarise these needs, the definition of sustainable development was born. It was all very well coining a definition, but countries found it difficult to work together to achieve this very broad, very big ask, without some form of clear direction. In 2012, the member states of the United Nations met in Rio de Janeiro to create a new global agenda for sustainable development. In a document called The Future We Want, member states embarked on a journey to create a set of goals that would build on the 2000 Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs, which were 8 objectives that guided countries and the UN from 2000 through to 2015 in the battle against poverty and inequality. It was widely accepted that as a result of the MDGs, the world made rapid progress in combating poverty, but the MDGs still didn't go far enough. Other targets significantly fell short of the UN's intended goals, and what was left was a partial win in a fragile developing world where malnourishment, infant and maternal mortality, and lack of sanitation still remained prevalent. Although promoted as being a success, the outcome of the MDGs analysed goal achievement success based on national averages, which often missed out other important factors for consideration, including indigenous and rural communities, as well as women and those with disabilities. Another major shortcoming was that the MDGs failed to recognise that goal achievement is not linear and instead needs a systems thinking view that prioritises various critical paths of goal achievement for individual countries. After recognition of some of the failures of the MDGs, a new way forward was realised. The new goals would need to target more than poverty-related issues. They should apply not just to the world's poor nations, but to all. They would also have to raise the bar even higher, becoming universal, integrated, and transformative. The United Nations was given the task of developing these new goals. It took 3 years of countless meetings and consultations, ultimately involving the participation of hundreds of thousands of people. But on August 2, 2015, the long process of consultations came to a successful conclusion. On that day, countries worldwide negotiated a way forward and came to a consensus on a document called Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The 2030 Agenda was formally adopted on the 25th of September 2015 at a UN summit attended by over 150 heads of state. It marked the first time in human history that the nations of the world came together to agree on a comprehensive vision with clear goals and targets for the development of our civilization on planet Earth. The agenda included 17 Sustainable Development Goals, supported by 169 specific targets, with several targets under each goal. It also included recommendations on how nations should proceed in the implementation of the goals. Through all of this, the fact remained that individual countries still had their own political agendas and priorities, and with all good intentions, the creation of a more comprehensive, complex set of goals, which were not legally binding, which didn't take a whole systems view, meant that progression towards goal achievement was likely to get off to a slow start. The new SDGs were intended to encompass all nations. They were to cover the whole sustainability agenda. To ask every country to make progress on every goal was idealistic, but this is the path that was chosen and the path that was agreed upon. The question remains, do the 17 goals really have a clear route to goal achievement? In a world where humanity is already on a crash course to environmental, social and economic tipping points. Are they even the right goals? And so far, have they been successful in achieving what they set out to? If sustainable development relates to global challenges, and global challenges call for global solutions, how then do we collaborate, coordinate, and co-create to form a global society that feeds an increasing population without degrading the land, overusing water, and while eradicating poverty? That develops the global economy while eradicating inequality and mitigating the environmental consequences of growth? That produces energy for all without increasing our CO2 emissions? and that accounts for unseen events such as natural disasters and global pandemics, while still remaining on the path to global goal achievement. These are the questions that as a global society we must continue to find the answers to. Leave no one behind is one of the key messages of the SDGs. No goal should be considered as being met unless it is met for everyone. But in order to do that, the implementation of the SDGs requires thought and considerations for other global initiatives, mainly the planetary boundaries which help us stay in the safe and just space for humanity. It involves a systems thinking view, and it also involves constant monitoring and adjusting of priorities in order to identify the fastest route to successful goal achievement.